Monday, SportsCage Game 7. Blue Jays, Seattle Mariners tonight. Thanks for making some time. It's kind of a cloudy, rainy day in downtown Regina. Hope everything is well where you are. Maybe some of you are listening us on the streams down somewhere warm right now. You can also watch what we do through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. And then there's the old-fashioned 620 CKRM, where I know a lot of you are driving around listening, probably not harvesting today, unless you're in an area where it's a little dry. We got 3 hours for you. All of our guests are going to join us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Great night for Western Pizza. A nice warm pie watching Game 7. Why wouldn't a guy or girl? Prairie Land Rentals text line is how you communicate with us, 936-6262. And the show is for Kellen Solar on Mondays. 35 years experience of moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com. Maz is going to be with me. We're going to talk Blue Jays in a bit with Arash Madani. We got to recap the Rider-Bomber game and what that was. Interested to hear your thoughts on it as well. We're going to talk about the Rams, the Thunder, WHL, SJHL, Hour 2 Coaches Show. Jordan Linnen from the Saskatchewan Roughriders will join us. Eric Francis, NHL Insider in Hour 2. Darian Durant in Hour 3, along with Pat Chat, where we're joined by Regina Pat's General Manager, Dale Derkatch. Like I said, Maz is with me on Mondays. Maz, that was a tough watch. I watched the game, listening to Dave and Luke. Dave and Luke paint the nice picture of what's going on. It reminded me, as we talked about last week, the dark era of the Riders, those dark seasons where it wasn't the greatest football to watch, but sometimes we would win and all that. And I know the game didn't mean much to us, or did it? Are we telling people we were trying to win that game? At the end of the day, it wasn't great entertainment.
Before the game started, I was wondering about the rest versus rust thing, because you knew that the Riders, after clinching, were going to rest some players. But what game would it be? Would it be Winnipeg? Would it be against BC? And I think for me, and maybe a lot of fans, rest everybody against BC, go into Winnipeg, put on a dominant performance, play Trevor Harris, go in there and just, the arch nemesis of the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the past 5, 6, 7 years is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You could have beat them for 3 times this year. And you get it. There's no, I don't know if there's any right or any wrong. So I don't know what you're going to do this week against BC, but going in there, I'm like, okay, Jake Maier. But then I wanted to see more Jake Maier, because I think at one point he was 12 for 12, and we didn't throw for any touchdowns, but he seemed to be moving the ball to the dark era, like you mentioned there. I think if you check the stats, we rushed 7 times for 5 yards, or at least Mario Anderson Jr. did. Our leading rushers on the night were the quarterbacks, Jack Cohn and Jake Maier. They each rushed for 12 yards. We had 31 yards rushing total. That wasn't great. And then Winnipeg just did enough to hang around and eventually kick that field goal, no time left, and win.
29 yards rushing is what I got.
Oh, sorry. Did I say 31? Sorry. I was exaggerating. Fake news on the Sports Cage within the first 10 minutes of the show. Somebody call the CRTC. Let's get these tapes analyzed. My apologies. I said 31. It was 29.
I need to hear. We have some really, I think, great listeners, and they message in, and they don't have to agree with us. You can say you thought it was great. You thought it was awesome how it went down. 936-6262. The pulling of Jake Maier and putting in Jack Cohn, it reminded me of when that dad plays his kid on the team when everybody in the stands know that kid shouldn't be playing. I mean, what is he doing? Why does he have what's going on here? It didn't make any sense. Unless there's something more to it that we don't know. At that point in the game, are you kicking him into the fire? He's kind of been sitting there in crap weather in Winnipeg, and it's like, hey, go out there and do the job. Mayer was, he wasn't lights out, but like you said, he was moving the ball. He was getting some sort of rhythm going. And then if we want to get Cone some time, hot tip, we got a game this weekend. You can have all 4 quarters.
That was my question as well with the BC game. Trevor Harris was dressed. So selfishly, I want us to go in there and beat the Bombers and really put the stamp on things. Because regardless, the BC Lions are playing for a home playoff game on Friday. They're going to be playing all out. Like Nathan Rourke's playing, like everybody. It's game on for them because they've been in playoff mode for a while.
But if Calgary loses to Edmonton, which I don't think they will,
they not.
But no, they could. They like Edmonton. Now you got something. It's like, hey, put it all on the line. Lay it all on the line. Like we heard that song way too many times in the NHL playoffs last year. I was thinking about that today. But the Elks could win this game. Then doesn't it mean nothing? If Calgary loses, BC can rest guys, right? Because they have the home game.
They can, but what scares me is, let's say, so we lost on Friday. If we lose again on Saturday to BC because we're resting a bunch of people and they're going, do you want to be going into the playoffs on a 2-game losing streak? That's not the trajectory you want.
Personally, I don't care. Stay healthy. And that's just me. And I know there's some people out there like, no, Harris needs to play. People are saying Harris needs to play this weekend. No. Don't even bring your sneakers and gym wear to the stadium. Take advantage of the buffet upstairs. Really good. AGT Lounge. Go and hit it twice. Make a nacho plate at halftime like I do. Do whatever. Don't play. Why? Because in football, you got practicing all week. It's like he's going to be rusty. His age, he's played the game for a long time. I think health is paramount. He's going to be able to practice. He's going to be thrown against his teammates. He's going to be ready to go come the West Final. Again, that's my take. Don't play. Don't play. AJ, you too. Hopefully you're still somewhere hot. You can disagree. I don't care about the win. I don't care. And if BC has to win this game, I love it because then we are seeing them. We are seeing, now maybe not all the plays, and it's football, and it's man on man and all that, but you might see some of their plays. You might get tipped off, so to speak, on things. I would really like it to mean something for BC, and then they got to play everybody. And then we can maybe take an extra lick on a guy. We can make him feel that hit. What's the forecast Saturday? Saturday doesn't look bad too, right?
Yeah, well, they are going to have to win. They're going to have to play their way through. So if they're hosting, whether they're in the semi, whether they're hosting or not, and then if they do win and then they come back to Saskatchewan. But the way that Barney, and I'm not sure if you saw that game when they played Edmonton, Nathan Rourke was the leading rusher. He had 80-some yards rushing. I think he had 300 yards passing, a bunch of touchdowns. Like, they're clicking on all cylinders. And at this point, are you really going to... Is Corey Mason, the defense, really going to be surprised by something BC does if they play in the playoff game? I think that flea flicker on the first play of the game against the Bombers, I think that gave away something. It sure caught the Bombers off guard. But, you know, the detriment on that play, Robustelli gets hurt and we don't see him for the rest of the game because of how he landed awkwardly.
Yeah.
But I love the aggressiveness. I love the aggressiveness of, like, we're after it. Let's go and let's crush the Bombers. Let's put
that flea flicker has been done millions of times. It's not like it's not like the bounce pass. It's not like the old Bedford Road bounce pass. It's been done. Where do they do it? Out of the gate in the game? Love the aggressiveness. Love that call. It's almost like you're playing Madden, right? You're playing with your buddy. You're playing not Tecmo Bowl. You couldn't, but you're going with that trick play, first play of the game. Let's give him something. Look, let's give him a double reverse quarterback throw. Yeah, no, and yeah, Robustelli falls, kind of hyperextends his knee or whatever. It looks awkward. I don't think we are showing anything. So you can go back to that flea flicker in the West Final on a 3rd and 1 when they're not expecting it. There's your window to do it again. right there. Now, you need massive raisins to pull it off on a 3rd and 1, and who knows what the weather's going to be like in November. But I don't think we're tipping off anybody with that personally, and I want to see BC have to come in here and play for the win. Like, I want Calgary to beat Edmonton, and then it means something, and make him hurt. Every tackle, every chance you get, you have to hit them. Now, to the other point, Maz, where I was watching that game early, and I was like, the kickoff, I was like, this reminds me, just how guys are running down the field. This looks like a Pro Bowl game. There were a lot of business decisions, and I think rightly so. I would probably be in the same mode. I don't want to get hurt. I'm in Winnipeg. It's 3 degrees. It's windy. It's going to rain soon. It's gross. And we got the playoff. We got the West Final in 3 weeks. Business decisions. And then there were some guys, you could tell, that were going just right all in for the lick. And the guy beside him was like, buddy, slow down. You're making me look bad.
My 2 game stars from Friday, Aubrey Miller Jr., who would getting a chance to play, another depth guy. I thought he had a great game. He seemed to be around the ball lots. And I've said this on the show all season. I've been saying it for a couple of years. Mitch Picton, who I don't think has ever gotten a fair shot. But all Mitch does when Mitch goes in is Mitch makes plays, including that beautiful reception. If he doesn't catch that ball from Jack Cohn is 1 for 8. But where he's got the feet on the sideline and he falls out. But it's a struggle to get him on the roster for whatever reason. If I'm putting that playoff roster together, I'm sorry, but a Joe is not on there. If it's a choice between him and Mitch Picton, Mitch, because of experience, he just knows where to be. And then we can't not talk about this. Lothar misses that field goal at the end. Valvo runs it out to the 50, and that's what leads them down. And the Rider D-line, said, I wanted more Jake Mayer. The Rider D-line was getting after Zach Collaros. Now, they only had 2 sacks officially, but they had pressure all night, and they were making it super uncomfortable for him. But then Winnipeg, after the opening kickoff, they didn't panic because I'm like, oh, good. Here comes the landslide. The Riders need to pile on 21 points quick. Like, let's get this over by halftime. But they weathered the storm, and then they came back, and they were going. Brady Oliveira, I think the Bombers end up getting about 115 yards rushing total, but they kind of got Oliveira going, as we've seen. And Collaros did just enough. Now, if that was a playoff game, that ain't going to cut it. That is not going to cut it.
If you're in Winnipeg, if you're waking up in Winnipeg Saturday morning or Friday night, because you're probably sleeping off a day drinking binge, you're not happy with what's going on there. 29 yards rushing, like for us was bad. But for them in a game that meant something, mediocre at best. Cy on the text line saying, we might have lost that game against Winnipeg, but Winnipeg is hurting. Zach was beat up in the game. They won't last in the East. And then he also says, I would like to see BC show everything on the weekend to get their home game. Yeah, I think most of us do.
Okay, Cy, hold on a sec. Cy, I'm going to challenge you because Buck Pierce, who was the offensive coordinator for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers for the past, 5-6 years, it didn't matter if they showed you. They could just execute it better than you could stop it. And right now, it looks like the Lions, just how things are rolling so easily for them that, all right, because if the pass isn't there, Nathan Rourke's taking off. I'm just checking these stats here. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to see, just checking these stats. I want to double check because I think Nathan Rourke had 80 yards rushing, which I'm like, that's not good. That is not good. Cody Fajardo.
I get everybody's buying this BC stock. Our SportsCage power rankings, if you throw those up, Colson, if you're watching the stream, I get buying the BC stock. And yeah, BC has looked good. But I need to see you in 3 weeks after 2 more games, which hopefully Saturday, again, to Cy's point and to my point, hopefully Saturday really means something. And they got some bumps and bruises. Then they got to play again. Then you're rolling into Sasky in who knows what weather. And now let's go. Now you're going to get punched in the face, and it's going to matter.
Can I just say for the power rankings, I voted the Ottawa Red Blacks are 9th. I voted. There's only 9 teams in the league. I put them as 15. No, they weren't 9, 10. They were 15.
You had the Regina Rams in at 9.
Yeah, the Regina Rams in at 9, and the Regina Thunder at 10. Okay, yeah. So on the weekend, so Nathan Rourke was 21 of 32 for 338 yards. That's pretty good. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Okay. Nathan Rourke rushing 3 carries, 82 yards. James Butler 15 carries, 82 yards. What has been the formula when the Saskatchewan Roughriders have lost this year? Teams that have been able to run the ball on them, that the Calgary Stampeders were able to do. And the one thing about the BC thing is VA will run a little bit, but he's not as much of a threat, I think, as Nathan Rourke is, just because of how he runs and just the way that he plays.
Do you have that Mace clip? Okay. Let's go back to the pulling of Jake Maier for Jack Cohn, which I said is the equivalent of sometimes when that coach plays his kid in a meaningful game or meaningful moments. And everybody in the stands knows, what are you doing? Your kid shouldn't be on the ice. But he's the coach. He was able to make the change. This was his comments after the game. Is Arash there?
It wasn't just him. There was a couple guys that we rolled in the fourth and truthfully throughout the entire game. So everybody on that dang roster today was out there to play offense and defense. So just us having faith in the group to get it done, and we were that damn close.
People couldn't hear that on the stream? Sorry. Colson says if you're listening on the stream, you couldn't hear it. But he said that was the plan. They wanted to get him some reps. He's got a 2-year contract. He's a way better football coach than I am. I got a question. Why not play him this weekend then? Give him the whole fourth quarter. Don't while he's cold in Winnipeg and it's raining and everyone just wants to get home. Why put him in? And Maier's slinging it a little bit. I use the term loosely. A little bit.
Yeah, he was a little bit. I mean, I think he was... Yeah, finished 120th yard, no touchdown, but it looked like he was moving the ball, and like I wanted to see more Jake Maier. I did, because I'm like, all right, let's see.
I didn't want to see any more of that game. It was hard to watch. Sorry, I call spade a spade. That was a hard watch.
It was, but I kind of thought it would be. Okay, so Jake Maier finishes 15 for 20 for 123 yards. Jack Cohn was 2 for 8 for 38 yards. Yeah, the Riders, the right notes, wrong quote. Riders 29 yards rushing. Mario Anderson 7 carries for 5 yards. Antoine Brooks Jr., though, 2 sacks. AJ Allen 9 tackles.
Prairie Land Rental, 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner. Husqvarna snow throwers arriving. Anything you need for that fall or winter job, then rent. Go visit them. Eli brings up a good point. Eli says the Riders don't particularly play good after a bye, so resting players could have the same effect. Let's hope not. Understandable. Totally understand that. Eli. Roscoe, perfect opportunity to see what Cohen has. Why not this weekend, Roscoe? Why there? I almost feel like I'm missing something here. Like something happened. Ron and Deb are disagreeing with you because they always do. Could care less if we beat Winnipeg 3 times means nothing. You have banged up people. They're resting. They rested against Winnipeg. Playing some vets part way versus BC to keep the juices flowing. But like Barney says, keep healthy, go Jays. I don't play anybody this weekend again. Just me. I'm like, no. Okay, but we're adults. You played in the league a long time.
I wanted more of the Jake Maier train. If this was going to be Jake's shot, because let's say it's the Jake Cohen Bowl on Saturday, let Maier go. Like he seemed to. I didn't expect him to come off the bench. He hasn't played any meaningful football in. When did he get that start? July. Was that late July?
July, yeah.
So it's October. So I'm like, it's going to take a while to knock the rust off. Let's keep going. I like the Jake Maier Bowl because he's got to try and develop some chemistry with some of these guys out there.
Brandon,
and having no run game didn't help. That did not help at all. That probably drastically changed some plans.
Okay, last one before we go to break. Keep those texts coming because we're going to get to him in a bit here. We got Arash standing by to talk Jays. But Brandon says, I 100% trust our coach, but really didn't like the pulling of Maier. Maybe the Riders wanted to eliminate the Elks more than the Bombers. Interesting take. To each their own, Brandon. Thanks for the text. Paradigm Rentals text line's buzzing. 936-6262. You can also get in on the YouTube chat if you're watching through the stream and watching what we're going to do. But it's Game 7 tonight. I am all in on this. I am picking up Western Pizza. I am getting home. I am pumped. I have my Sports Select ticket that we will run down. It's right here if you're watching the stream. I'm all in on the Blue Jays train. I'm loving this. Trey Yusavich, I might buy a jersey. Yeah. You know who I really like? Okay, go ahead. Addison Varger. Is that his name? Did I get his name right?
Everything that the Blue Jays did yesterday,
he looks
not to take away, but Friday night, to me, Shohei Ohtani, that was the greatest baseball performance in modern day history. That I still can't get over. I'm glad that the Jays have made it to Game 7, but what Ohtani did on Friday night as a Dodger, striking out 10 and hitting 3 home runs, including one that left the park, stop. That timeout, we're done. That, to me, is the most impressive performance in modern day baseball.
I was watching ESPN in the background, and the sound was off, and I just thought they were showing a highlight pack of Ohtani from the year, and I'm like, he did all this in a playoff game. Well, the unfortunate thing, I didn't get to watch it live with my own eyeballs. I don't think we'll ever see that again, unless it's him. Anyway, Arash is standing by. Let's talk Blue Jays. Do you have thoughts on the Blue Jays? 936-6262. It's the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. All right, here he is, joining us on a Monday again because it's a Game 7. Now, before we get into Blue Jay talk, you said you wanted to weigh in on the quarterback carousel issue weirdness.
Okay, so hello, by the way. Hi, guys. How are we doing?
Oh, hi. Hey.
Yeah, so I think we're all in agreement that Trevor Harris is the guy. Right? Breaking news. Na-na-na. So what is the point of playing Jake Maier, Jack Cohn? It's to prepare them for any scenario in which something catastrophic happens to Harris. Which is why you don't tell them what their plan is. Which is why you don't pair them for an easy situation. Which is why, at moment's notice, in a really terrible weather situation, in a sloppy game, this is what you're going to encounter if we have to go to you. If you're going to have to go out and deal with the elements, if you're going to have to go out and deal with the unknown, the way to prepare somebody for that is exactly that, is to have them ready for a scenario by not being quite prepared for being ready for the unpredictable. So that's my take on it.
I get your take. I respect that take, but then you could go through it and be like, hold up, Mario Anderson, you're going to kick a field goal, because that could happen. We might have to put somebody. We could play the what if.
No,
we can play the might
Brett
game.
Lauder's not going to miss again, because Brett Lauder's going to go be Grey Cup most outstanding Canadian. I'm telling you, Barney.
Yeah, we found that. We found that audio, by the way. Outside of 50 yards, brother needs some help.
I thought it was inside of 40 yards, brother needs some help. Outside of 50 is okay.
It doesn't make any sense, Arash, and for me, because you can just start him this weekend. But I get what you're saying. It's like, hey, the unknown, the surprise. Guess what? You're going to play. I'm not even wearing runners. You're in. It's like the fourth liner that wants to make a stand in senior hockey, and he takes off his skates, and then all of a sudden they tell him you're in. It's right.
It's all of those scenarios. Nobody goes in no backup goes into a scenario knowing what's going to happen other than I just know I'm next man up. And in any kind of scenario, in any kind of weather, that's going to happen. The Riders' next meaningful football game, for the sake of the Riders, they hope it's going to be plural, games are all going to be likely in terrible weather. Are all likely going to be in scenarios like they had last week. Their next meaningful game is going to be outdoors at home, and what they hope is the next meaningful game after that is going to be outdoors in Manitoba. So strap them on, let's go.
Let's pick that up tomorrow when you join us for real.
Yeah.
We have you here to talk Blue Jays.
As opposed to this one, this isn't real.
We have you here to talk Blue Jays. And I want to know.
The things we do for Brian Golly, by the way, just bonus episodes all over the place.
Brian Golly's appreciates
Smart Investing Solutions. My guy, Brian.
So if you would have booked a room at that hotel in the Sky Dome, I know it's got a new name, for October 20th, and you would have booked it months ago, maybe even a year ago, just because it's a ceremony, a special day for you and your significant other or friends or whoever, and it happens to just land on today and you got a nice rate because it's October 20th. Do you get the boot? Did they call you and say, hey, we got game 7. I know we got you in at $229 for a double queen tonight. You're getting out. Like, who's got these rooms in the hotel tonight? I want to know that.
It's funny you bring it up because a friend's colleague is looking for rooms tomorrow for nothing to do with baseball. And you can't get into downtown Toronto this week for under $1,000 anywhere. Like it is taken over this city, except I'm very worried about tonight because of something Vladimir Guerrero did about an hour or two ago.
Oh, I know.
I saw that. Oh.
What are you doing, Vladdy? Rocking an Austin Matthews white Maple Leaf shirt walking into the ballpark.
Nice.
Like you talk about wanting to exorcise some demons. Whoo-wee.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, that could be either him being naive or it could be the best troll job ever. It could be the best troll job ever. If underneath he pulled up a different jersey.
Above. Look, Vladimir Guerrero wants this to be his town. Vladimir Guerrero shows up to Raptor games and Maple Leaf games. Vladimir Guerrero is all in on this whole thing. He's the one who famously said, "This is my city." He's kind of repping all of it. All of the ghosts of Game 7 passed tonight by doing that. Like, what a statement. Wearing Austin's 34 jersey coming into the ballpark. We're talking about a dude who is, like, all-time highest OPS in a single playoffs. He's top 4 all time with, like, Barry Bonds and Carlos Beltran and Manny Ramirez. This is what Vlad's doing. So that was a statement that he made showing up wearing that jersey.
What's the Drake curse? Isn't there something to do with Drake and wearing teams' jerseys and they're like, please do never wear a jersey again?
Yeah, I actually don't know, but I do remember this. Game 1 of the Raptors NBA Finals. Raptors are playing Golden State, Steph Curry. Drake showed up wearing Del Curry's throwback Raptors jersey. When Steph's dad played for the Raptors, Drake rocked that courtside and they won that game. So I'm not quite sure exactly what that is.
I was reading online. Of course, everybody knows there was a giant Amazon outage earlier this morning, affected Snapchat and Spotify and Netflix and all of that. But it's screwing with the Blue Jays ticket system, where some people that had tickets for tonight's game, there's chaos there. And I was reading online. They're like, we're doing the best we can to sort it. Could you imagine, Arash, if you are a long-suffering Blue Jay fan and you were fortunate enough to think you have tickets to Game 7, and then somebody kicks the extension cord, and then the internet goes out and be like, yeah, sorry, we don't have your tickets. Yeah, sorry, we don't have your tickets for tonight. Ouch. Could you imagine the panic right now that some people are experiencing a couple hours until first pitch?
There's a line there somewhere, Maz, about the owner of the franchise being a telecom of some sort, but let's not go too far down that road, right?
Arash, there's all sorts of legal documents. You can only say nice things for X amount of time. So
That's right.
We will move
right.
on. Hey, before we get into the Jays, I said this to Barney before the break, and I love what the Jays did before the weekend. But no, we have to. I want to acknowledge this. To me, the best game in modern day history I saw on Friday night in baseball, Shohei Ohtani striking out 10 dudes, hitting 3 home runs, including one out of the park. Could he possibly do more? Could he be the most valuable player ever in baseball in our era?
Maybe in pro sports. Like what's the comp here?
Mm-hmm.
Is the comp of this, I'm the starting quarterback who threw 3 touchdowns and for 400 yards and also had a pick 6 with a punt return back for a touchdown?
Mm-hmm.
Like what we're watching here is just, it's when unicorn meets insanity. Yeah. I mean, it's unheard of.
And I will say I'm the casual baseball fan. Obviously, we've had that joke and all that. And even this, I'm like, this is next level. Like, this is something that people should be talking about and will be talking about for a long time, of what this professional athlete is doing.
Yeah, and continues to do. Like, it's not that it's a one-off. It's every single time. Regular season, postseason, doesn't matter. Like, here's the thing. Like, we're about to talk about Game 7. And what's the first thing that we're going to talk about today? Well, this is going to come down to George Kirby versus Shane Bieber. This is going to come down to pitching. Shohei Ohtani's pitching has almost become an afterthought because he's one of the most lethal bats in baseball, yet he is a shut-down ace of the rotation, front of the line, anywhere in the game.
That, I don't know who he's dating or if he's dating anybody, but you put a real athlete female side with his genes and her genes, you could have like the super athlete of all time. Serena Williams. How old is she? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like this guy's a freak. Absolute freak. Okay, but I'm watching the game last night, and the bases loaded jams.
So by the way, I'm so glad we moved on from that. Thank you, Barney. Go on.
The bases.
Yeah, that was a whole. I'm like, I'm not touching that. That's only going to get us all fired.
Why?
Again.
How? Well, anyway. Bases loaded jams. Like, getting out of that. You said, I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't. Like, Colin Lovequist, he said he didn't know if he was going to make it through the night last night. I understand that. These hardcore Jay fans.
So I heard today from a longtime friend that I haven't been in touch with for quite a while, who's been a lifelong Mariners fan, legitimately. Grew up in Oregon, childhood Oregon, high school Oregon, spent some time in Canada, now is back in Oregon. And he said, Jays are hitting .310 in this series, and the Mariners pitchers have a combined 7.33 ERA. I'm more concerned about the Mariners pitching than hitting a man named Bieber. And I'm like, okay, cool, except you had the bases loaded in the third. Inning-ending double play from Cal Raleigh, no less. So you're like, okay, well, the fourth inning rolls around. Still a 2-0 ball game. You got the bases loaded again. You got a vet at the plate in J.P. Crawford. Surely it's going to be different. 4-6-3 double play to end the thread in a 4-0 game at that spot. Then the fifth inning, third straight occasion. How does the inning end? With another ground ball, 6-4-3 double play. To me, you can talk about all the different things in this ball game, but the fact that the Mariners 3 straight times did that was when the game was effectively decided. And that's all-time stuff. Like, those are the things, all these things all have to happen for a team to win a championship. There's no straight path. Maybe there is if you're the Dodgers, I guess. But for everybody else, these are the things that need to go on if you're going to have a chance to do it, and the Blue Jays did.
Yeah, for everything that worked out last night, because like many Jays fans, having a bit of a panic attack. I thought we were in cruise control on Friday. We were winning that game, and I had switched away to watch a little hockey. And my wife
it was 2-1
comes downstairs. No, when it was 2-2, and my wife comes downstairs. She goes, "Are you not watching the baseball game?" I'm like, "No." She goes, "Seattle just hit a grand slam." I'm like, "What? No, no,
Can't turn away.
No." So on both sides, they're both as explosive at times as they need to be. I thought last night, and Arash, you would have to agree, the errors that were made, and it went back to fundamental baseball. Jays getting infield hits, running things out, forcing plays, forcing the errors, where you saw Seattle Mariner guys who normally are good defensively, just the random everyday play that they've made 1,000 times so far this season. Yeah. They miss that ground ball. They miss that throw. It was back to basics of baseball.
And honestly, Maz, I think the crowd does play a factor in some of that. I think you do get rattled, even if you've played, 1,000 baseball games in your life. The magnitude of the moment can catch up with you. I think in Game 5 that happened to the Blue Jays manager with his decision on going with Brandon Little of Jeff Hoffman. But tonight, this is it. Like, literally no tomorrow. So I don't care if Jeff Hoffman got 6 outs for you last night and threw over 30 pitches. He's your guy tonight in that situation, no matter what.
I asked Colin Lovequist this. Is this one of those situations where you watch baseball? Is everybody available to throw? Is Trey Yusavage available to throw 1 or 2 batters?
No, Yusavage isn't, but basically everybody else is. Look, I wouldn't
Why
be
isn't
surprised. Well, just because he just can't. Like
what? One batter?
But tonight's not about Trey Yusavage. If you get 3-4 out of Bieber, I do think Kevin Gausman's in play. I do think Max Scherzer's in play. I don't know what's happened to Eric Lauer, who has seemingly vanished off the face of the earth. He's in play. I think Chris Bassett's in play. Everybody is. Difference now, though, guys, compared to postseasons past, is the 3-batter minimum. So you really have to kind of pay attention to where you are in the lineup, et cetera.
Oh, okay.
Right? When it comes to, you can't just be one batter situation.
Why?
And that's
Arash, actually, thank you, as someone who was on a sports show a couple days a week, for not knowing how sports works. I didn't realize they changed that. I'm like, because you'd see a pitcher come in, he'd throw to one guy, then we're on to next. So it's a minimum 3 batters now. A pitcher has to come in and face.
That's right.
Oh,
so they did that as part of the pitch clock. They did that to speed up the game in the regular season. The ghost runner on second base in extra innings, that doesn't continue in the postseason, but the 3-batter minimum does.
See,
so that changes the entire outlook of things.
I talked to 2 hardcore baseball fans in the last 24 hours that didn't know that. Because I was like, so you could put in a guy to pitch 1 batter. They're like, yep. They didn't know that. So I don't even feel that bad now being a rube that just has watched things for the last 2 weeks here. I feel better about myself.
I bet they did know Addison Barger's name, though.
DeBarge, great band.
El DeBarge.
I was close. Arash, give me some. Remember when we started this back in May?
Bam.
He looks like he would be a brother of Luke Bryan, the country singer. They look similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He also looks like he has a future as a professional wrestler with the hair and the face and everything.
Or a country singer. Okay, who's the X factor for the Mariners tonight, do you think?
Look, everyone's going to point to Cal Raleigh, 60-plus home runs, blah, blah, blah. To me, it's still Josh Naylor. Here's a guy who grew up in Mississauga who's just, his bat has been electric through this series, earlier in the divisional series against Detroit. He's got some major pop. They went and got him at the trade deadline, brought him over from Arizona for this very moment. He's also sneaky with the glove, guys. Could he make a defensive play in this ball game for Seattle if they're going to get the win? Look, all eyes are going to be on George Kirby. The Mariners bullpen hasn't really been taxed. They have a lot of arms available to them. Part of the reason that Cal Raleigh is so effective is that he's got protection. And so To me, Josh Naylor is the guy to look out for.
Colson wants to jump in.
Yes, sir.
I'm just going to wrap two things we started or hit earlier on. I'm going to drive by the first one real quick, but Mamiko Tanaka, former women's Japanese professional basketball player. That is Shohei's wife, so good genetics there.
Okay.
And then the other one is the Drake curse, is whenever he publicly supports a sports team, bets, jersey, whatever, they lose their next event. That is the Drake curse. And then I don't have the plus minus on that in front of me. I've been trying to look for it, but I have been made aware of it a lot. It's pretty rampant.
Wasn't there a wrestler in the 80s, 90s, Tanaka? Wonder if she's related.
Tatanka.
Oh, Tatanka.
Tatanka, yeah.
Different. Where's Mr. Fuji? Is he involved in that?
Mr. Fuji's passed on. He's passed on. Rest in peace,
that's
Mr.
fine.
Fuji.
I'm just asking if he was involved
Yokozuna's. He was Yokozuna's manager.
Yes. Kamala?
I don't remember.
I remember Kamala.
Kamala was a great wrestler. It was one of the best ones. Okay, what's your? You got to give me before we let you go today, and we'll regroup tomorrow with more pregnancy talk. What's your hot take?
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They've announced their lineup. They should sit George Springer tonight. He is an absolute liability with a bad knee. His swings have been a mess. They progressively got worse. I get Springer got you here. I get you're paying him. I get the air quote loyalty thing. You're trying to win a ball game. I would have put Miles Straw in right field. I would have made Barger your DH. I would have led off with Ernie Clement. I don't think George Springer, A, is going to give you a quality at bat. And if he walks or gets hit or just happens to get a piece of something, God help him running the bases.
And if all else fails, you still have Varger.
Or Ernie Witt and Dave Steve. We can call them up.
Oh, I watched that Blue Jays song. Yes, we can't play it. Colson things will get flagged. But I watched the original video of it on the weekend. I think actually one of our listeners texted it or messaged it to me. That is so good to go back. Exhibition Stadium. And then, the pictures of the Blue Jays playing at Taylor Field this weekend were flying around social media.
Somebody sent one to me. Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
About that. Yeah.
So, Arash, if I could, I don't know what time, I think the Toronto flight leaves in the morning and at night. I would have gone to Pete Spiro. Let's send Arash a wheel for tonight's game, because that's what I'm doing. And you could have sat down, had some Western pizza, watch this Game 7. We get to talk again in like 23 hours.
Save it for the World Series. Series. Although I sent the video of Vlad showing up in a Matthews jersey to a buddy. He wrote back, betting the house on Seattle immediately.
Oh.
There you go.
Sports Select 3-gamer today. Seahawks, they got to win by more than 3. Scares me.
Yeah.
Lions got to beat the Buccaneers by more than 3. And the Blue Jays to win. There it is.
Go.
3-gamer. All right, 23 hours. We'll talk again.
Okay, Blue Jays, let's play baseball.
See you, Arash.
By the way, that's a throwback Matthews jersey because he's got the A, not the C. So that's a couple of years old. I wonder if Vlad wore that to a Game 7 that the Leafs lost at home.
Back when the Leafs were good.
The core 4. I like Vegas Mitch. Lay off Vegas Mitch.
I don't think there are any 1967 sweaters hanging around the city.
Bonus edition of Coast to Coast with Arash Madani, still brought to you by Brian Gawley, Smart Investing Solutions. You got to be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley. We'll go to a quick break. It is a Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com. 6:10 first pitch, Game 7. Jay's going to send Shane Bieber to the mound. Mariners going with George Kirby. Should be a good one. National Hockey League tonight. Canadian teams. Jets are at the Flames. We're going to talk to Eric Francis in hour 2. Canadians hosting the Sabres. National Football League Week 7. Bucks 5-1 at Detroit, 4-2. The Lions are a 6.5-point favorite in that one. Texans are at the Seahawks tonight. So a lot of fans will be watching on their phone baseball while football is on as well. And then some CFL news. The Alouettes have signed Senior Vice President of Football Operations and General Manager Danny Machocha and head coach Jason Moss to 2-year extensions. SportsCage.com poll today. Do you think the Saskatchewan Roughriders made the right decision in bringing in quarterback Jack Cohn into the game in the fourth quarter of the 17-16 loss to Winnipeg? You can vote at SportsCage.com. Also sign up for the Insider Report as you have a chance to win some cool prizes. It's brought to you by Bundle and Save with Reliance Heath. Rent a new water heater and softener together and get $400 in cash back. Call on Reliance Heath today. Maz, before you go to break and wrap up hour one, Can West football, and I know the Rams play their last game Friday at 1 p.m., mind you, at Libel on this Friday. Yes, it's not a holiday, so still go to work. Try and sneak out early. Go watch the Rams play UBC. 22-20, a win over Alberta. This league, this football, it is so tight.
Yeah, and if you check the stat line, it was tight. There was no 200. There was no 200 yards rushing. There wasn't 400-yard passing. It was a tight game between the U of A and the Rams, and this was, to me, I think, very close to what playoff football is going to be like. Whoever they're going to play, it's going to be one of these dogfight games that's back and forth, and you're going to have to make a few key plays, and then they pull out the 22-20 win. And yeah, but it's that time of year. It's football weather. Things are going to tighten up. The teams that are going to stick around are the ones that are going to be able to make plays when they need to. And I don't think there's any gimmies going forward. So even with the UBC coming to town this week, I don't think that, expect probably round 2 of what they saw last weekend.
We need Manitoba to beat Saskatchewan Saturday at the U of S for Rams fans. That would go a long way. But yeah, UBC rolling in here. Again, 1 p.m. We'll talk about that as the week goes on. And how about shout out, not that we, if I had 2 farms, I would have bet them both on the Thunder winning. We talked about this at 49-10 over the Edmonton Huskies. And now it's the matchup, and it's here, Hilltops, Thunder. But the Thunder, Mosier, quarterback, 9 of 18, 165 yards. Jackson Harnett led the Thunder on the ground, 209 yards. But you and I have been talking about it. This is the game this weekend.
I'll give out the clutch performer early. Anybody that went to the game yesterday and sat through the snow and the rain to watch the Thunder win, you are true football fans. Mm-hmm. I would have been like, oh, it's halftime. We got to go. That was not prime football watching weather yesterday at Libel Field.
We got more to come in hour 2. We'll keep it going. Coach's show. Jordan Linnen from the Saskatchewan Roughriders is going to join us. Also, Eric Francis, Sports Cage. We are in the home of the Riders. We're in the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Welcome back. Hour 2. Maz is with me. Text messages. We'll get to some of those in a bit. Prairie Land Rentals text line 936-6262. People are giving their take on the pulling of Jake Mayer and Jack Cohn going in Winnipeg, which was interesting. An interesting play. Rough Rider Foundation 50-50. You got till Thursday at 5 o'clock. Here it is. They had till Thursday at 5 o'clock to be in for the early bird. This week's early bird prize, I feel we've had this already this year. Maybe they're getting a good deal because they bought 2. It's great regardless. Cabo San Lucas, all-inclusive. Package, flights from Saskatchewan to Cabo, 7 nights, all-inclusive. The 5-star Hyatt Ziva Los Cabos Hotel. Oh, I could taste the Japanese steakhouse, but they probably have. And round-trip transfers from the airport. Or $7,200 cash if you don't want to go.
The best part about Mexico, because remember when you're young, you're dumb, and you don't know what you're doing, and then you go experience Mexico at like a 2-star, and then you're like, this isn't great, but then you see the resort next door, and it looks nicer, and you see what they're eating and what they're drinking and the pool they have, and then you start kind of upgrading. This is top shelf. This is a 5-star. Is that what? It's a Hyatt, right? Did you say Hyatt?
Oh, this is 5-star. 5 stars.
So this is top end all inclusive.
Really nice resorts in Mexico are like 4 stars. 5-star is special. Or if you don't want to go to Mexico, you don't want to get sunburnt, you don't want to do the, come back a little bloated, a little too much eating, a little too much drinking, then just take $7,200 cash. Do whatever you want with it. You got to be in by Thursday at 5 though. Riders5050.ca. And while we're on the topic, let's play for the next. Let's go a weird one, Colson. Let's go to 5:40. SaskTel pick the score. So all you that have texted in already, text back in with your name and number. What do you think the score is? Lions and Riders. My guess is as good as yours.
I went 4-0 last week on my picks, by the way.
Are Lions going to be playing for anything? Are they going to be playing their starters? Are they going to come in, like if Calgary wins? Kickoffs at 5 p.m. You win tickets to this game. How the heck does that happen? We're going to have to clarify that with Nick. But anyway, we got tickets to the giveaway. SaskTel pick the score. Oh, no, I guess we can give them away. You're giving them away, Colson. Yeah. Okay, Colson's got him in his hand over there. Till 5:40-ish, we're playing SaskTel pick the score. Gary in Winnipeg sent in Drake's gambling losses. Okay, James in Regina saying, hey, boys, pretty sure Cohen was playing well before kickoff in Winnipeg. We almost beat a very desperate team with 10 starters. I'm resting 4 and 52 again all day against BC along with the camper. Let him practice for 3 weeks without contact. 45 will play November 8th with a screw loose guaranteed. You think that was the play? The play was to put Cohen in at that time. Maybe it was. I don't know. It just seemed weird. Let him play this weekend.
So, the one guy that I'm not worried about, regardless of injury, not injury, AJ Ouellette. If it was just hanging, if there was something barely hanging on, he'd be like, tape it up, I'm going to play. Because that's just who he is. Because to me, he's been our unsung hero this year. How he's just near the end of the season doing everything.
You have to go take
everything.
One of those outside locks and lock him into the camper so he can't get out. You're not coming to play, man. You're not dressing. Harris, don't just, like I said, upstairs. There's a buffet bracelet. Go take it in. You're not playing. Hardrick, you're not playing. Who else? Go down the list. I know it gets into the ratio. We need guys and
rest versus rust. Because
who cares? You get to practice all week.
It's a one-game showdown. Yeah, but you don't practice with pads on and there's no intensity.
You can. And you're getting ready for the West Final. Again, these are adults. These guys have been doing this a long time. You mean to tell me that they're not going to be ready to go for the West Final at home, hopefully packed? There's $20 tickets. If that place isn't sold out, we need to really look in the mirror as Saskatchewan football fans. You can get into the mixer for $20.
There's a mixer beforehand? An early
be.
Tailgate, if you will. Oh, could you imagine if we ran a rogue tailgate at a Sharky's hunting camper? Just right next to Real? Well, hey, I the perfect
Pheasant
backstory.
pie.
We're there to fix the leaking roof in arena number 6, but all along we're just like stocking the trailer with like stuff for when the fans come by. I'll go on Amazon. Damn it, Amazon's out. I was gonna go order us some like fake uniforms we could have worn to like totally just have this thing down. We'll run a backstory.
Brent, I want to read that text, but I can't. Just letting you know.
Why is it bad grammar or foul language? One of the two.
I don't judge on bad grammar or foul language.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Sea Lightning said Arash was right. George Springer is hurt. He should not be playing, but he is. Huskies are a strong team from DB. Is it DB Cooper? Are you still out there? Huskies are a strong team. Looking forward to Rams-Huskies rematch. Wouldn't that be good? I think Thunder Hilltops this weekend. And if we do get a Rams-Huskies, we're spoiled. And then high school football. I got it here for the high school football report. High school football playoffs are on right now. It's so much. Are we ready to go? Okay. Let's keep the football talk going. Let's go talk with one of the Riders coaches on the Coaches Show.
It's time for the SportsCage Riders Coaches Show for the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation. Get your 50-50 tickets now for all Rider home and away games. Riders5050.ca and Steelcraft Doors Regina. Made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Joining us today, Coach Jordan Linnen. Off day for the fellas. I'm sure you guys are still at it as coaches with things where they are, and we know we're in the West Final and the Winnipeg game. You know, we roll in. We got BC coming in this weekend. Maybe BC is going guns a-blazing. They need to win. Maybe they don't. Is it tough to prepare for these ones as a coach?
I think it can be, for sure. I think it comes down to ultimately, the culture you guys have as an organization and your thought process as a head coach. For us, I think it's just another game. We're kind of treating it almost similar to a preseason situation where we're able to kind of look at this as a chance to get some evals, get some guys valuable reps. You just don't know how these games go, right? So more than anything, we want to make sure we're getting guys healthy and getting guys back, but also, we want to make sure that the guys that do play get a true, fair evaluation heading into, the postseason.
What on the defensive side of the ball, what's one thing that you really liked in Winnipeg on Friday?
Honestly, selfishly, I think from me on the back end, talking more specifically for the DBs, I think the communication was excellent. I think the guys that were in there, getting their feet wet or, having opportunities on limited starts, really communicated throughout the game and made the adjustments on the fly that we need them to make. And I think that there was a little bit more, chemistry and continuity on the back end that we haven't seen for the last few weeks, which was huge. And then I think collectively as a whole, I think that, the defense played aggressively. We weren't going to be out physicaled. That was a thought process going into the week. We know what it's like to play in hostile territory, especially in Winnipeg. And we know that, provincially what that means to the city and to the province itself. So we wanted to make sure we put a good showing out there, and I think we did that.
Coach, to me, Antoine Brooks is doing incredible things. AJ Allen's been doing it all season ever since he got a chance to start. I thought on Friday, Aubrey Miller Jr. had a hell of a football game. He hasn't had a ton of playing time this year, but you see him every day, day in and day out. Why? What makes him so special? Because he's another one of these rider depth guys to be like, oh, there's another guy on the depth chart just waiting for his shot. He played a great game on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hats off to Aubrey. We joke in the building, his nickname's the Terminator. He's a guy that when he gets out there, he's going to give you everything he's got. Coming off a pretty significant injury to come back and to get into a game, he was chomping at the bit. I don't think I've ever seen someone attack their rehab as aggressively as he had. He was in here every morning before us. He was here late into the day with us. So, to see him finally get back on the field and to, be able to put it all out there and let it all hang out, it was great. We joked during the week, he was falling all over the place in practice, but we were joking that was him, getting his feet back under him, getting, back acclimated to playing, in live bullet situations. But yeah, once the game, kicked off and he had a chance to, put the helmet back on, he definitely stood out throughout the game. And I think he's a guy that as we get into the postseason, it's going to be an integral part of what we do, both on special teams and, hopefully on defense as well.
You're not that old. What are you, 35?
Yeah, I'm 35.
35, right? Who's a player that you got out there on the defensive side of the ball that you can see being a coach in the next few years down the road?
I mean, as soon as you ask me that question, the first name that comes to mind is Jaden Dalkey. Jaden, the way he prepares, the way he brings intel to the group, most, the linebackers, the DBs. He was a former DB, and even just the room as a whole as a defense. He always brings good information. He's always watching film. He sees the game at a higher level than most guys that are in it. And I think, he's a guy that will embrace the opportunity to coach when it's all said and done because he loves the game of football. So immediately my mind goes to Jaden Dalkey. I think another guy that would be a good coach or a great coach, albeit he's a quieter guy, is Roland Milligan. Sees the football, sees the game obviously at a high level, but also just the way he articulates himself. Quiet, a little bit more kind of reserved, but he definitely is a film junkie and definitely loves to talk ball with anyone that's willing to, talk ball.
Cool.
We don't know what is showing up here on Saturday as far as the BC Lions go. They could be playing for a home playoff game, which they would want to have at BC Place. Last week, though, Nathan Rourke had 82 yards rushing. James Butler, their running back, had 82 yards rushing. That, if I'm on the defensive staff of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, to be like, oh, there's a couple of things we may have to keep our eye on as we game plan for these Lions. Would you agree they're a completely different team than what you saw earlier in the year, just because of the progress that they've made in all three phases?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anyone that is, following the CFL or is a fan of the CFL knows, BC is arguably the hottest team in the league right now. I think they've consistently shown week over week that they're, progressing or trending in the right direction. Obviously that entire offense is pretty vaunted. Rourke's playing out of his mind. Those receivers are playing outstanding. Butler's been great, both running and catching the ball, and the O-line's getting back healthy. So, we're definitely aware. We're definitely, keeping that in our, thought process as we plan for this week, but we're also, looking at the bigger picture too. You don't want to show your hand too much heading into these playoffs, but we also know that regardless of what it is, we're in a position now to play spoiler too and force the issue to, maybe they have to go play in the cold, maybe they have to go play in a Calgary, and we're not going to lose sight of that either.
We had him on, I think it was 3 weeks ago, and I thought it was just a fascinating interview. They all have been. They've all been great, but he just seems like such an interesting guy and intense. How do you describe Joshua Bell?
Oh man, I got a lot of love for Coach Bell, a lot of love for Josh. I think the biggest thing with him is he's a guy that loves this game. But just as much as he loves this game, he loves his players, he loves the process, he loves us as a staff. So some might say eclectic. There's a lot of things you can use to describe Coach Bell, but I think more than anything, man, he's an outstanding coach and an even better person. And I think when it comes to preparing, I don't think there's very many coaches in our league that prepare as hard as he does. So hats off to him and his process and how much he has bought in and brought to the table for not only our players but for our staff, man. I think he's made each one of us coaches better too. And throughout the weeks, it's been fun to see his process and kind of see how he deals with the good, the bad, the ugly, and then give him some ideas too to how to do things differently or do things better. So, but yeah, he's super intense, super passionate, but he loves the team. So
Love
it's the best thing.
Love it.
On a scale of 1 to 100, what are the chances that all of the defensive coaching staff in the Western Final gets face painted like Josh Bell used to as a player, just to really show the intimidation factor for whoever we play here in like 3 weeks? Can we count you in, Jordan? Are you one of the 100 guys? Where are we stand on that?
You know what? I'm always going to ride for my guys. So if it's one for all and all for one, I'm in. But it's funny. Okay. It's not as far-fetched of an idea as you think. We've actually joked about doing that. So it's definitely something not off the table.
Yeah, hey, you're 35, still young. Like, would you have a couple reps in you if you had to go out?
I always joke. I probably got about 3 plays, and one of those is running down on kickoff. So let's not use them all up at once. Let's use them sparingly. But if they need me, I'm here.
What's a motion capture athlete? How do you explain that to the SportsCage listeners?
For me, I'd basically say I'm just a washed-up guy that they throw in a suit to do the football movements of the real guys that actually do it. But to the regular person, I'm a mocap athlete, which means you just basically get into a really, really tight-fitting suit. It's not great in my old age, but you get out there and you do all the contact movements and all of the celebrations and all of the presentation for the video games. And sometimes it's like full-blown contact. Like we really tackle, we really hit, we really have to drop back and get sacked or whatever it is. But yeah, it's basically doing all the same football movements you do in real football, but in a smaller studio setting that usually requires a million takes, unlike football where you get a little bit of time in between.
Riders coach Jordan Linnen joining us, and he worked for EA Sports. Do you still do that in the off season then?
Yeah, I do when I can. Obviously schedule's a little hectic, but when I can, it's always good to get back in the suit, or even, I've been able to be on the producing side as well. So that's been cool. But
are you good at Madden? Are you a good player?
Ironically, I'm not at all. I'm more of a Call of Duty kind of guy rather than the football guy. But I play a little college football, better at college football than I am at Madden. So we'll say that.
We had Coach Kent Majuri on here last week. Now, when we had him on, it was just announced the new Corey Mace, Jeremy O'Day extension. So we were wondering if there was going to be a giant staff dinner somewhere fancy on Coach Mace, as opposed to the Kentucky or the fried chicken, which I guess gets brought into the building. Can you confirm or deny? Was there a giant meal out somewhere and Coach Mace's credit card came out to pay for it all at the end in the past 7 days?
I can't confirm or deny, but I will say that, Coach Mace does always look out for the staff. And I know that even if we haven't got it yet, I'm sure it'll come somewhere down the line. We know that, he's always said he's going to take care of the staff. So I'm sure that, that will hold true.
Is this chicken that good? Explain the chicken.
We've actually migrated away from the chicken, no pun intended, but we got away from the chicken, and we're kind of on the Five Guys train right now. So that's our current staff selection for the game plan days is some burgers and some fries, and you can dress it up how you want, and that's kind of how we get down on the game plan days.
Now, does a coach have to go pick it up, or is that somebody on the staff? Is that an intern thing? Is it one of the positional coaches? Like who has to go do the duty of physically getting it all in the brain? Oh, I suppose there's DoorDash and those things. You don't have to drive there. Sorry, I'm stuck in 1985. Sorry,
I don't know if the DoorDash people would want to deliver that many burgers and fries. So luckily we have a great football ops team, and they do a good job of making sure we're taken care of. So shout out to the football operations group.
Okay, you're your former Langley Ram, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't have a great season this year, but did you catch what the Regina Thunder did a couple of weeks ago when they set a new junior football record with 632 yards on the ground?
I literally actually texted Andrew Harris, and I said, hey, at this point, we might as well sign all the running backs over there and see if those guys want to play these last couple of weeks while we get guys back healthy. But, hats off to the organization, man. I've been able to catch a couple of the Thunder games over the last 2 years, and honestly, man, top to bottom, phenomenal organization. They do it right. They support junior football the right way. It's been cool to see. I mean, obviously a Langley guy, and obviously it was a rough season for those guys, but, more importantly, anytime I can support junior football, just like Andrew, I'm going to do that. It gave me a lot of, really cool moments in my football career, and I was able to play in a national championship. And, I don't like the Hilltops, but I have a lot of respect for Sarge and those guys up there as well. Again, class football organization, they do it right as well. So, hats off to the Thunder, man. Those guys, I think those guys all can play. We got a couple guys here that I think at some point you'll see playing in the CFL as well. So, it's pretty cool to see.
So you'll be at Leibel on Sunday cheering them on against the Hilltops?
I probably will be, to be honest. I can't ever get behind cheering for the Hilltops. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Coach, I don't know if you got a little takeout order tonight. You watching baseball tonight? Game 7? You a baseball guy at all? You catching this fever?
I'll definitely be catching the game. I love all sports, but baseball definitely has I've played a little bit of baseball in my day, and also love just, supporting baseball in general, especially with the Jays. I'm a Red Sox guy, self-admittedly, so that it hurts me a little bit, but I'd rather see a Canadian team bring home the World Series than the team down south.
Right on. All right, Coach. Stay healthy. Thanks, yourself, Coach. Too, and good luck this weekend. We'll chat with you again.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Right on. Riders defensive assistant Jordan Linnen. Did you know about that EA Sports thing, Madden? That he's like one of the guys that put the suit on and get tackled and all that. That's what he does in the offseason?
No, that's crazy. And the fact that they've already discussed getting face paint on like Josh Bell used to as a player, that's funny. Do you imagine that? They come up running out, bring him out up in the coach's booth, and the TSN cutaway shot shows everybody with face paint on, the eye black.
There's a bunch of the Thunder running backs standing there. Hey, I thought you guys were calling us. I thought we were going to play. It's actually not a bad idea. That should be allowed. Should be able to affiliate the junior club and doesn't take up a spot or anything like that. It's a good idea. Yeah, he was a really good junior football player. Then he went on to university, and he's 35, but he looks 25. That guy's aging well. Yeah. It's always fun. The Coach's Show is brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canada, and also Rough Rider Foundation 50/50 wear. Early bird until Thursday at 5 o'clock. You get in, you got a chance to win the Cabo San Lucas all-inclusive 5-star, or you can take $7,200 cash. It's a Sports Cage. We're going to come back with our clutch performers. We are streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Get my clutch performer. And I changed it because Colson reminded me that this happened in the Super Bowl. They tried it as well. Kansas City tried it. But Tyler Batty and the Minnesota Vikings coaching staff, Tyler Batty's a rookie. He's playing sparingly. He went in to stop the tush push from the Philadelphia Eagles for the Vikings. And he, if you're watching the stream, I think we got a picture of it. He was on all fours or lying sideways. So what happened was the Eagles had an offside or procedure, so they had to end up punting anyway. But is this what we're going to see more of? Teams going to this. He's lying parallel to the goal, to the line on the field, and they figure that's one of the best ways to combat it. So I think my clutch performers, Batty and the Vikings coaching staff.
I'm going to go to Division III American college football, to Curry College, where a running back named Monty Quinn had 20 carries on Saturday for 522 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. Good job, Monty. I hope that takes you from D3 to D1, because watching some of those D1 games on the weekend, there were some good ones. There were some bad ones. Somebody could use a Monty Quinn. 522 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns.
I saw that. I think it's a record across all levels of NCAA football.
Wow.
Nuts.
Yeah. Good job, Monty.
My clutch performer, making his season debut for the it's a Czech name, I can't pronounce it. Kladno Knights.
Sure.
In his 38th professional season, Yager. Again, not done yet.
There he is, if you're watching the stream. Like, I skated for the first time on Friday. I still not feeling great. I don't know how this guy does it, to be honest. And then you know what, though? There's like 67-year-old guys going to boot around the co-op on Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings skating. Good on you. Continue the game. I never thought I'd get to that part in my life, but it hurts. It really, really hurts.
Were you helping coach? Were you playing a game? Why were you out on the ice?
No, I got to play. Got to play pickup. Well, once a week, twice a week kind of guy. But yeah, so I had my first one on Friday. And it's like the feet are pancaked from wearing crap shoes and flip-flops. So the skates hurt, knees hurt, back hurt, arm hurts. Take my mouth guard out. My mouth hurts. Getting old, man. Yeah, only a few years left. The back nine. Clutch performer is for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. Game 7 tonight. Should we go to Sprinkle of the Day? Let's go to Sprinkle of the Day right now. For our friends at Sports Select, where it's all legal, 18 plus to play. Every bet's, you get a chance to win cash in hand, Sports Select. And now, like I said, you can do it online or on your mobile device. It generates a QR code, and then you go in to your local Lotto Spot retailer. They scan it, and you get your ticket. But I went in and I filled it out today, old school. So what do you think? Let's go Seattle Blue Jays tonight, the pro line, where they got to win by 2 when you take the pro line. Toronto is 210, Seattle 270. If you think it's a 1-point game, you take the tie at 305. Maz, do you like anything there?
No, because they've been blowouts either way, and that's where the over/under at 7.5. Take the over. If you just look at just this series or the Blue Jays in general, normally if they're in, they're in, and there's a lot of runs coming in. If this game ended up 2-1, I would be shocked. For either way, if somebody won the game, Seattle or Toronto 2-1, because that's not the kind of baseball that either of these teams play.
So what I did is, again, old school. I just went straight pro line today. No combo, no nothing fancy. I went Toronto to win. I took the 210. Then if you scroll down, Colson, I don't know if you can, I took the Lions at 155 to win. So they're going to hopefully win by more than 3. They're a 6-point favorite on the spread there. And then I took, this is the one that scares me. Seattle to win by more than 3 at home against Houston. Houston's been, I don't know what to make of Houston.
You can't trust the Houston Texans. Nobody knows what they are. They don't even know what they are.
Can I trust Sam Darnold? Is that I feel I can't trust him either.
Well, after watching Geno Smith and the LA Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, wherever the Raiders are living these days, take on the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday, the fact that Geno is still a starting quarterback, Sam Darnold is Tom Brady for the Seahawks compared to what Geno's doing for Vegas. That was a hard watch. Yeah, I think, what was it? Kansas City had 31 first downs and Las Vegas had 29 plays on offense.
Gross. So there's sprinkle of the day. If you're on your way home, you're picking up a pizza pie, you can stop into your local Lotto Spot retailer. It is 100% legal. Chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, you must be 18 plus to play and play responsibly.
While we're on here, do we think the Rangers can score a goal at home?
Is it?
That's so nuts.
Yeah,
I think they will. Tonight, Colson, they break the streak.
We got our NHL insider. Why don't we ask him after the break? It's Eric Francis time. We get to talk some hockey. It's a Sports Cage. If you're watching us along on our YouTube channel through sportscage.com, if not on the streams, or tuning in on the old-fashioned 620 CKRM. SaskTel picked the score 936-62-62 up until about 5:40. Got a chance to win tickets to the game this weekend, Saturday, 5 o'clock kickoff. The Lions in town. Let us know the score. And you also got a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card. Maz is joining me on this Monday. It's for Kellen Solar. Kellen Solar, 35 years of installing solar. And if you need something for your livestock operation, it gets colder, Kellen Solar can help you out there, kellensolar.com. Did I tell you what the get-in price? I think when we were talking to Arash, I don't know if I mentioned this. When I looked it up, with the get-in price to go watch the game, $250. You can go watch Game 7 tonight if you're in and around Toronto. About $250. You could snoop it around. That's not bad.
No,
you're up, but who cares?
Yeah, that's not bad at all, considering like if you go to a concert now and you're going to buy through like a ticket retailer or that secondhand Ticketmaster or whatever it is, you're $200 to $300 to see a concert. So a Game 7, Blue Jays, something that hasn't happened since the early 90s, I don't see why.
That's why I feel like those festivals, like Country Thunder, when that rolls in and people are like, it's like $200 or $250 for a weekend pass, and I'm like, do you guys know how much it is to go to a regular concert? Darius Rucker's playing tonight, the Brandt Center, seats available. That'll be a great show. He is going to play some Hootie. You know he's going to play some Hootie and the Blowfish. You guys were talking about the other day. Do you think he's going to play any of those? I'm like, he has to. That's like going to Paul McCartney and him not playing the Beatles.
We covered this on the show a couple of months back. There's a website called setlist.fm.
Yeah.
If you're ever curious of what somebody's going to play or a band plays or an artist plays, you can go and you can check the set list, because the show closer is Wagon Wheel. And when we interviewed him about a month ago, I asked him, I said, hey, Wagon Wheel's a good song. To me, I don't think it's your best song, but it's the song that the crowd goes craziest for. And he agreed. He said, I don't know why he doesn't think it's his best work. The crowd loses it when Wagon Wheel comes on the encore.
Hold My Hand.
It's right in there.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
He's going to play Let Her Cry.
I might
Only
go to this. He plays Rio, a cover of Duran Duran's Rio.
Duran Duran, yeah. Mm-hmm.
My name is Rio. Only Want to Be With You, obviously. Was that their biggest hit?
Only Want to
Hootie and the Blowfish? I think that would be.
Well, I don't know what the numbers say. The song that probably emotionally gets people is Let Her Cry. I don't know the chart numbers, like which one was more, but as far as emotions go. And they also redid in the Hootie days, the 5440, they do a cover of I Go Blind. There is that.
Yeah. This is a good set list, man.
I know it is. And since we last talked to Darius, it was announced that he is now engaged to his 29-year-old girlfriend. And he lives in London, England. He moved from Nashville to London. Are you applauding the move or him being in mid-50s engaged to a 29-year-old?
That's for you to figure out. My favorite Tahuti song or Darius Rucker song, this. It's this country, what, about 7-8 years ago? Came out with that one. It's good. Okay, so the question, and Arash kind of touched on this. We're going to play the Arash thing later, maybe a little bit of it. We talked baseball. Who's got the hotel rooms tonight at the Rogers Center? When did people book those? Because now, if you're looking out at the stadium and you happen to book this 11 months ago, 12 months ago, just because it was a day, maybe it's something special, we're going to stay at the Rogers. There's nothing going on that day. It's late October, but I rented it. We can.
I have made a conscious effort on the show because we all have our crutches, and that when they get used, you get abused on the air or off the air. I have not referenced my sister and her husband from Florida in a very long time. Okay, but hold on. Because through the Saskatchewan grapevine, talking to my mom the other day, she goes, well, do you know that Donna and Doug, if the Toronto Blue Jays win, they already have their tickets and their hotels for Toronto, because they're big Jays fans, that they're going to be going to all the games. So they already have their tickets pre-bought and their hotel and their flights. And I'm like, well, that's good. Like
Donna and
they've
Doug
done
planning
very well in life. Oh yeah. They've done very well in life. And when you have money, you have options. And that option is pre-buying your World Series tickets. And
are they staying at the hotel in the stadium?
I don't know. What is it? A Marriott? What's the brand of the hotel?
Travelodge.
Okay, all I'm going to say is my brother-in-law is a little more of a Four Seasons guy. All right. Now there's that hotel would be kind of cool, but if there's a Four Seasons available, and I know there is one in downtown Toronto, they're more of a Four Seasons situation.
It's a Marriott.
Yeah, so that's the latest.
Marriott.
Is
Colson confirmed Marriott.
Yeah. So that's the latest from the Saskatchewan hotline of family information.
Jeffrey says, unless you're a president, PM, king, or rock star, or rocket, you will never get those rooms. No, Arash said if people had them booked, they're honoring that. Now, maybe they called him and said, hey, we gave you that. You got that room for $249 tonight. It's Game 7 of the ALCS. Here's the situation. We are going to give you 7 nights wherever you want in the Marriott chain. And also said hotel firms. But you got to give that room back to us. And if you're not a big Blue Jay fan, it's like getting bumped on a flight. Who can stick around? We'll give you a voucher. We'll give you a fly anywhere you want to go. But we need you to get off this plane with your duffel bag. A lot of people take that.
We give you $700 in a travel voucher.
I'm traveling by myself, and I go on a later flight or go tomorrow. Go suck back a gin at an airport bar. I'm fine with that. If you're traveling with a family or you need to get somewhere, different. But if you're not a Jays fan and you got one of those rooms booked tonight, sell. Highest bidder. I would negotiate. I would hold out right till the end. Because maybe it is Trudeau and Katy Perry that want that room tonight. I don't know.
Oh, speaking of cringe. I think she's... I don't know that I would ever say this. I think she's more cringe and desperate these days in the decisions that she's making.
I heard there was some public burnings of CDs and records and stuff in places.
But did you know, Barney, on the weekend, it was the 10-year anniversary of him being elected as the Prime Minister of this country. I saw on Twitter that he had posted that.
We got to go talk to Eric. Let's go.
Now for Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on the Sports Cage. Inside the NHL is brought to you by Sports Select. Getting in on more of the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer.
What do you think about that, Eric, tonight? Who's got those hotel rooms for Game 7 at the Rogers Center tonight? Do you think they booked that like 11 months ago just out of fluke, and now they're going to be watching Game 7 from their room?
That would be pretty cool. That's some fortuitous planning, that's for sure. I'm so glad your first question had nothing to do with Trudeau. Can we make a promise never to talk about Trudeau on this show, please?
I'm in.
Eric, you keep talking like that, you're going to get elected. Last week, I was joking when I said the Flames peaked in their very first game when they beat the Oilers. That's going to be the highlight of their season. Eric, I was only joking, but they've lived up to it. They're the worst team in the NHL. The Gavin McKenna sweepstakes, if they started today, the Flames would be the worst team with the best chance to win Gavin as a draft pick.
I heard, look, the flip is getting the script is getting flipped pretty quickly here in Calgary, whereas, pretty soon that's all anyone's going to talk about. Like, that's all I heard all weekend. Like, we're in first place for the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes. and you're going to hear that a lot in this city unless they do something drastic really soon. And given the schedule they have ahead, I'm not sure it's even possible to do anything drastic, in a positive way. They got Winnipeg next 2 out of 3 games. You got in between those, they got Montreal, who's kind of, on the up and up. And it doesn't get any easier for the last place team in the NHL, that's for sure.
So they're not, let's be honest, they are who we thought they were in a way, but what are they not doing? Like to even have a sniff here? Can you put your finger on what's going wrong?
Well, other than not being able to play good offensively or defensively, they're looking pretty good.
Traveling safe?
They can't score. They've got 9 goals in 6 games. Like, that's obviously, they knew that was going to be a problem, but they didn't think it was going to be that big of a problem. And and defensively, that was their calling card last year that kept them in a playoff race longer than anyone thought possible. The combination of Dustin Wolf and some great defense. But this year they've been prone to these massive defensive lapses. And, when they lost 6-1 to Vegas the other night, I couldn't believe the coach was saying, like, we actually thought we played a really good first period, but we made 3 mistakes and they all ended up in the back of our net. That's where they're at right now. They feel like a period where they're outscored 3-1, they actually felt like they played pretty well. And that kind of shows you where the bar is right now. Like, they're so desperate to find some sort of momentum or some reason to believe that they can suddenly fill the net with goals. And again, they play Hellebuck tonight, and they'll probably play Hellebuck again on Friday. And I'm not sure it's going to solve their scoring woes in the next little while here.
It's funny that game against Vegas Mitch looks great. I'm a huge Vegas Mitch fan now, but that game was gross. And then yesterday I was flipping channels trying to find football, and they were replaying the Vegas-Calgary game. If I'm Craig Conroy, I would have phoned somebody at Rogers and begged them, please take this off. Put on anything. Can you put on poker or one of those highlight shows? Nobody needs to see a replay of what happened in Vegas. Because, like, for a while there, I'm like, this looks like an NHL team playing an AHL team. Like, I was feeling bad for the Flames fan. Like, the broadcasters have got to do their part, and then all of the online shows, and I'm like, there's nothing to say here.
Yeah, and I will say this, and I'm not trying to be the great defender of the Flames. You'll never hear me do that. But you guys have played hockey. You know how it is. You're down 3-4, 5-1 in one of the loudest, most that's one of the toughest barns in the league to play in, no question about it. And you're playing against, as Barney would say, a real wagon. Like, you're playing against, I would arguably say that's the best team in hockey right now. It's certainly the biggest team in hockey and one of the most skilled. And when you add Mitch Marner, your favorite new player, you've got depth there that they haven't had in a while. They're piling up the points and goals and momentum. And that was the first game where effort was being called into question. And the Calgary Flames last year, they were known as maybe the hardest working team in hockey, or one of them. And that's their calling card. Because if they don't outwork you, they have no chance to outskill you. That was the first game in the second and third period where it looked like they kind of gave up. I could give them a pass on 1 or 2 games like that when you're getting it handed to you in a building like Vegas. Plus, you've been there already. This is your 3rd night in Vegas. Everybody knows what the 3rd night in Vegas feels like. It's not that much fun.
Oh, let's go, Fat Burger. But okay, speaking, this is brought to you by Sports Select, and I hit this last week, I thought it was a misprint because you can bet the futures on Sports Select. I got Vegas. Now it's at 875. I got Vegas as a Stanley Cup winner at 10. Still 875. That is good value.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I mean, we could sit here and debate, like, okay, list your top 5 teams that could win the Stanley Cup this year. And it's a mugs game this early in the season, don't get me wrong. But
sure,
you want to throw a few shekels on it, you know, you might be throwing, you're going to have to throw some on Florida, although that's probably not a value play at any point in time as the 2-time defending champs. I don't know. You guys tell me, like, seriously, answer the question. Is Tampa still in that conversation? Is really Washington for real? Like I don't know.
No. And then the team just up the road, you're watching this East Coast road trip or whatever, and the Oilers just continue to lose. McDavid doesn't have a goal. Evan Bouchard the other night, and that play that gets replayed again and again and again, and there was plenty of people defending Evan Bouchard's, but Darnell Nurse's agent and Darnell are like, hey, Evan, thank you so much. Thank you for taking all the attention away from me. Because would you not agree, Eric, that maybe Evan Bouchard is a bit of a defensive liability for the Oilers? Maybe a little more than Nurse these days?
That's been evident from day one. I mean, the guy's sublimely talented offensively, but defensively, he's an adventure at best. So, yeah, that's nothing new, and it's just a little more glaring right now because of the start they've gotten off to. But Edmonton's, look at how they've started, 2 years ago, got their coach fired. They generally don't, that Stanley Cup final hangover is for real. I don't put much stock into them, struggling 3 games in a row. If you're putting money on a top 5 team to make the Stanley Cup final, you have to put money on Edmonton. I'm sorry, but you have to.
What? I don't think so. I stay away from them all day long this year, but we got a whole season to talk about that. What did Kevin Bieksa do on the weekend?
He absolutely destroyed Yegor Sharangovich on the post-game little chat they have in their little comfy chairs. He showed one play where Sharangovich did a bit of a flyby, which is basically his best move, and he ran into William Karlsson. Karlsson had dumped it in the end, and he kind of almost ran into it, but not much contact. And Bieksa started by saying, look at this, I think he apologizes here. I'm sure he apologizes. And then he just went off and said, this is toxic. This is a cultural thing in Calgary. If I saw a guy like that on my team, I'd lose my mind. He actually used the word disgrace to the NHL. He went on a real tangent. It was a little over the top, but God bless him. We love people with strong opinions. And the reality is Yegor Sharangovich has played without heart for a long time in his career. He managed to get 31 goals a couple of years ago. It somehow earned him a 5-year extension for $5.75 million each starting this year. And that sure doesn't look like it's going to age very well. And it wasn't just Bieksa who noticed that this guy, plays with zero compete level. The coaching staff too did, and he's a healthy scratch for tonight. And we'll see how he responds. He was a healthy scratch several times last year too, and it didn't really help his game either. So this is going to be an ongoing problem for the Calgary Flames. I promise you that.
Canucks win, but they lose Philip Hedl on the Tom Wilson hit. There was no call on the play. Could have been interference. What are you thinking? Should there be discipline from there? Canucks are playing some good hockey. They're winning some games. They're I know you don't think much of them, but he's been one of their better players so far early in the season.
First of all, don't put words in my mouth when it comes to Vancouver. I don't need that sort of heat. Okay. Second of all, I don't think much of the city. I'll go that far, but I'm not talking about the organization. But that hit from Wilson on Hedl was massive. That's as big a hit as I've seen in the NHL in a while. Like, I love it. I know the puck was gone, but it was only briefly gone. Like, it's one of those ones where as a kid you're told, finish your check. And that's the age-old rule, you get to finish your check because you were already committed and he had the puck seconds earlier. I don't know. From what I understand, there will be no supplementary discipline on it, and I'm okay with that. If it's a player on a team that I cheer for as a fan. I probably don't love it, but as a fan of hockey, I absolutely love it because I hate that we live in a world now when anybody gets hit hard, everybody immediately says supplemental discipline. It's got to be illegal. Guess what? Sometimes you can catch a guy with his head down.
Yeah.
And it's completely clean. And we got to start to understand that.
Oh, don't even get it. When's the last time you watched a bantam or a midget or whatever they call it now game? It's something else. Okay, we got 20 seconds. Darius Rucker's playing tonight in Regina, but the Jays Game 7's on. 6-7. Bounce. What's your favorite Darius Rucker song? Or Hootie?
Oh, my God.
Or is it Hootie? Or Hootie?
It's got to be Hootie. Like, only want to be with you. I mean,
okay.
I don't go to the deep cuts when it comes to Hootie. I just go with the flow.
Get this.
But yeah, that guy's flipping talented. Like, imagine jumping from Hootie to this country star. I think it's fantastic. He's a hell of a story.
He does
I don't know who's going to go and skip the Jays game, or more importantly, the Flames game. But, I get some people committed.
Yeah.
There'll be
That will
family
not
members
be
of the
beating-
Flames there tonight.
Yeah, moms and dads will be turning that garbage off. Oh,
Dude,
terrible.
There's no way my wife or son would even watch me on the broadcast tonight for the Flames game. I don't know who's going to watch that.
Are you on the broadcast tonight? Are they torturing? Okay, good.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, but no one will know.
Give us a plug on the broadcast tonight. See if anyone picks up on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want me to say a secret word? Like we'll talk about that
Code
story
word.
another day.
Oh, we have to talk about that next Monday or next week because you're shifting to Wednesday, Fridays. That was a solid pro move. I got to tell that. Let's go back to that story next week. We have more time.
Yeah.
That was really good. All right. See ya. Have fun tonight.
Yeah, boy.
See ya.
Only want to be
see
with
you, Eric.
you.
Yeah, our NHL insider Eric Francis, he's got to work tonight as the Flames take on the Jets. It's brought to you by Sports Select. Get in on more of sports action that you want to see. It's as easy as playing at sportsselect.com. Must be 18 years of age or older. Get on that Jays game tonight. You get a little parlay with the football games. Go to your Lotto Spot retailer. Get the QR code. Scan it. Bingo, bango. Quick break. We're running late here. It's the Sports Cage. We'll come back with the ticker on 620 CKRM. Let's keep this quick. It's Game 7 tonight. 6:10 first pitch. Jays and Mariners. Hockey. The Jets are at the Flames. Canadians host the Sabres. That's it for Canadian teams. National Football League Bucks at Detroit, Texans in Seattle. And the CFL news, the Alouettes have signed Danny Machocha and head coach Jason Moss to 2-year extensions. It is the Sports Ticker in Hour 2. It's brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, where right now you can win $1,000 back on your purchase from Umbrella Marketing or Extreme Hockey and Sport. Extreme Hockey has you covered, and don't forget about the price match guarantee. Hour 3, we'll start with Darian Durant. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM. One more hour before Game 7, Jays and Mariners, or maybe you're going to the Darius Rucker concert this evening. Regardless, Maz is with me. Colson's riding shotgun. Thanks for making time today. Like he said, it is for Kellen Solar. They got 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com. All of our guests are joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. It's a soup day. It's cold, it's rainy, or it's a nice pizza pie day. A nice thick pizza pie for Game 7. Maybe a dry rib on the side.
Saturday, my sister-in-law was making soup or whatever, and they got the invite to go over. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll stay home. I don't know what excuse my wife gave why I didn't go. I'm like, yeah, that's not a meal. That's part of a meal. That's not a meal. It's not a whole meal.
We're a huge soup family. That's all I know, and I love everything about it. Prairieland Rentals text line 936-6262. If you got something to say, maybe you got a question for Darian Durant coming up. And we're also playing SaskTel Pick the Score for another 30 minutes. What is the score? Lions Riders Saturday. Get a chance to win tickets to that game and a $200 SaskTel gift card.
I went 4-0 in my CFL picks last week. Some of them were, you'd think gimmies. What I'm thinking right now, I don't know who's playing. Because the Lions are going to try and get a home playoff game. I think the Lions are going to come out and show they're the Lions. They're not losing going into the playoffs if they can help it. I think it's Lions 30, Riders 23. I hate to say it. I didn't want Winnipeg. I picked Winnipeg last week. I didn't want it to happen, but I was like, I just had a feeling It meant more to Winnipeg, obviously, because they were fighting for a playoff spot.
Let's see what happens in Edmonton Friday. Calgary needs to win that game. Then BC should be going all hands on deck here Saturday. Let's go talk about it with Darian Durant.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. At Campbell Safety Consulting, we work towards helping companies create a competitive edge by executing a proactive health and safety program.
Doubles. There you are. There you are. What? Come on. Give me your take on the pulling of Jake Maier for Jack Cohn at that part of the game.
I mean, look, I'm not in a coach's head or what he's thinking or, what he's trying to see. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of the guy being pulled, but, this is an opportunity to evaluate some other guys and see, who can show up in game type action and also against a team that has so much to play for. So it's not like you're playing against a great team. You're playing against a team who's ready to, who fighting for a playoff spot for one. So you want to see if a guy can come off the bench and have some success against a team who's playing all of his starters.
Do you think that it was pre-planned from the coaches, and maybe would they have given Cohn a heads up that it's going to happen, or do you think it was a sporadic thing?
I think it was pre-planned. I mean, look, you're talking about a one-score football game. There's a chance for game-winning drives. I mean, clutch plays, whatever you need to see from a backup guy. This is a perfect opportunity to see that from Jake Maier. So I think it was predetermined. And a lot of times when you come into a game that is pretty meaningless, then you make decisions like this before the game. So I really think it was predetermined.
What was he, 12 of 15? 123, no touchdowns, but he was moving the ball. He looked like a guy that was just getting into a groove. And you know how hard it is, Darian. If you've been standing around all season on the sideline with a clipboard and then you get your chance, I think a lot of us fans, we wanted to see more because to me, I don't like, you're a competitor. Can you be okay as a player going, if we don't win, that's fine. You want to win all the time, right? Doesn't matter who it is, what the situation, who cares if we clinch? Let's win. Let's bury the Bombers. That's what I wanted. I wanted Jake to be like, let's bury this team because they have so done it to us in the past.
And especially for him, I mean, you're watching Trevor. You go from being a starter, and then you come and you sit behind Trevor, and you're watching a totally different style quarterback and have the type of success that Trevor's having. So you want to get out there and show what you've learned, show that you've matured, show that you're not that same guy that was in Calgary. So it was a perfect opportunity for him. And I'm sure he's a little disappointed in it, but you have to say all the right things and put the team first.
Maz is talking about, you want to win and the competitor and all that, but you're making some business decisions. And there were guys making business decisions out there. It's like, I'm just trying to get through this because I'm playing in the West Final in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, when you have your starters out there and you know that you just want to make sure you get through the game, you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. It's tough to go out there and stick your head in and make a tackle or, sacrifice your body in situations like that. So, it's a tough spot to be in. I would much rather have something to play for at the end of the season where the starters can continue with the rhythm and can continue to play. But I mean, I guess it's a good thing when you clinch early, you can get that rest as well. So it's a tough situation to be in.
Was there ever a part in your career, do you remember, where you got thrown out? It was a meaningless game and you were like, I'd rather just take the option?
No, I mean, unfortunately, we weren't able to create enough cushion during my career to be in those situations. But I mean, I'm all for playing guys and making sure you're in the rhythm, because if you have to take 3-4 weeks off before you play a meaningful game, rust does exist, and I really believe in it, and hopefully it's non-existent this year.
Rest versus rust. That's my topic of the latest
that's a tough
Rider
one.
Nation podcast. Now, Darian, so we saw at the end of the game, the Lothar misses the field goal. Valvel runs it out, and we know in a couple of years, or actually that's gone. So when they move those goalposts, so that's gone. And I knew that was one of your big proponents. And then Winnipeg just does what Winnipeg did. They were able to grind it out, move the ball enough, kick that field goal, kill the clock, and do it. that's still the sign of a championship team that knows what to do when they need to, because it wasn't meaningless. And I don't care who was on the other side. There were guys trying to stop that from the Riders, but the Bombers doing what they do, that it was, and to me, that's the part that's going, okay, guys, if Winnipeg did what they needed to at the end to get the win.
They did. They did. They got the win. But I mean, if you're a part of that Winnipeg's offensive squad, you're disappointed. I mean, Saskatchewan didn't have its guys out there. It's a home game. You take pride in being able to play well at home. And with this, it goes back and forth with Saskatchewan, who has the number one home field advantage in the league. So, with Winnipeg playing against backups, you would think that this was a game that they would dominate. So offensively, you have a lot of question marks moving ahead as, what can you do or what you're good at going forward, because that's definitely a game without Saskatchewan starters that you should have been able to put up a lot of points and a lot of yardage and been feeling good about yourself after that game.
The one thing that I will say is that you sure do notice when Nick Dembski is not in the lineup for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, whether he's the target or the decoy, Nick brings that element to that Bomber D, and you know this, you had some good security blankets over the years, and I think for Collaros, with Dembski not being there, and his replacement played well, but just there's that comfort level, and I think that for a lot of Rider fans to be like, yeah, all that Nick Dembski in the lineup makes the Winnipeg Blue Bombers offense way better than without him.
Yeah,
it's a threat.
He's a veteran guy.
You gotta, yeah.
Yeah, he's a veteran guy. He brings a spark to that team. Not only is he a veteran and good in the community, but he's a hell of a football player. So without him, that offense isn't the same. And, that this was a needed rest week for him so he can get himself back and get himself going when it's time to play in the crunch time.
Darian Durant joining us for Campbell Safety Consulting, our weekly chat. I was surprised, Darian, the lack of running game that we had, even with the conditions. And I know there's some backups in, or there's guys that aren't usually playing, though, but I'm not going to be concerned about it. Yeah, 29?
29 yards.
Look, Winnipeg came out and they have their starters, right? I mean, Saskatchewan didn't have some key guys up front. So I didn't go into this game expecting the reserves to come in and just move this starting Winnipeg defensive front all over the field. So I wouldn't look too much into that. I think when the playoffs come and you have your guys out there, you have AJ Ouellette out there, who is known for getting tough yards, getting yards after contact. If he had been out there and the starters were out there, then I'd be a little concerned, but not with the backups.
When you look around the rest of the league this weekend, BC did eliminate Edmonton. And I thought Edmonton was a good story. They just ran out of runway. They ran out of room, not enough games. Cody threw 3 picks. Nathan Rourke and James Butler, the two-headed monster, they each had over 80 yards rushing. So they're a bit of a problem. Defense came around. Calgary against Toronto. Now, say whatever you want about Toronto. Calgary looked like early season Calgary on Saturday in that game. Defense was playing well. They were getting plays on special teams, and VA in the offense seemed to be clicking. And it started with Dedrick Mills running hard, ended up with 115 yards. The formula's back. Do you think that the Stampeders have kind of righted the ship as we're heading into the final week of the season here?
You know what? The question mark's still out. I think, you can't put too much onus on doing that against Toronto, especially at this point in the year when they don't really have much to play for. I think if Calgary continues to follow the recipe of running Dedrick and not making VA go out and throw the ball 30, 40, 50 times, then they could be the Calgary we saw in the beginning of the season. Early on, Dedrick Mills would consistently have, 60, 70, 80-yard games. They would feed him, and they would work the play-action pass to open up some things downfield. So if Calgary can stick to the recipe and feed Dedrick Mills and kind of use VA and his ability to get outside of the pocket as a second fiddle thing, then I think they'll be fine. But if VA has to come out and throw the ball over the field to get things going for Calgary, then I think it'll be an early exit for them.
I think we want somehow, some way, Ottawa to go into the off season and to go onto the airport and wherever they're flying to beat Hamilton. And we want Winnipeg to go into Montreal and Montreal have to play. And then we want BC to have to come in here and play. We want all these teams to play meaningful football and get banged up a bit.
Of course. I mean, just think about it. I mean, you don't want anyone to sustain, significant injuries, but any little thing here or there that can help your chances of getting to the Grey Cup, you're all for it. So you definitely want Winnipeg to have to go over to Montreal and get beat up on over there. And, want BC to have to bring that potent offense outside to have to play in some bad weather, some cold weather, and see what that run game can do. So there are some situations that we'll definitely be rooting for as Rider fans. And, you don't wish harm on anyone, but a minor injury here or there that could keep you out a week or two, you're all for it.
Yeah. Define late hit.
Well, it was crazy.
It's up for question.
Well, it's crazy because when I turned on the Montreal game, it was of Davis Alexander laying on the ground, grabbing his arm. And I'm like, what just happened? Because if this is serious, their season's over. Like everything that they did, he got it out. He came back in the game. I don't know what they said they did, and they were eventually were able to get it back on track. But no Davis Alexander. That's a way different Montreal Alouette team that all of a sudden I'd have to go back advantage Hamilton. But with Davis Alexander in, so Montreal still has a shot at first place. Winnipeg, I think, and I'm not sure what you're thinking, do you think Winnipeg stays the crossover team and that BC and Calgary end up staying in the West, however it all shakes down this weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I think, with Saskatchewan resting its guys, I think BC comes in and they win and then they clinch semifinal game at home and force Winnipeg to have to go out east. It's just so much to play for BC. You definitely want to get inside. You don't want to you want to have that potent offense on that turf if possible. You don't want any weather being a factor. So if you're BC, this is a must win for you. You have to make sure you come into Saskatchewan, especially against the reserves, or I don't think Coach Mace will put too many starters out there this week. So if you're BC, you have to make sure you come in and get this game.
I want to leave you with an NFL question. Cowboys putting up 44 on Washington. I took that as a 3-point, a nice tight game, and Washington didn't play well. But man, as a Cowboys fan, man, I don't know how you do it. That blood pressure up, down, up, throwing stuff at TVs.
I think you just have to have your expectations in the right place, right? I mean, that this defense is going to give up a ton of points. So what they did was they made sure they went and got George Pickens, a guy who is a bona fide number one receiver for any other team in the league. And you pair him with CeeDee Lamb. And when you do that, you make teams have to score points. And I think that has to be the philosophy moving forward. You use these draft picks to load up on defense. But, I mean, you have to be a high-powered, high-scoring team in order to compete, and Dallas has noticed that, and they're looking pretty good. I mean, 3 games with 40-plus points already this early in the season, that's pretty impressive.
The 2 storylines from the NFL yesterday. Denver with a 33-point comeback in the fourth quarter, which I've never seen, which is nuts. Yeah. But where I felt the worst was the Miami-Cleveland game. Cleveland wins, and Miami, it just keeps getting... You didn't think it could get worse, but then it gets worse. We haven't heard anything yet. McDaniel turned the ball over to Tagovailoa. Darian, as an athlete, is that the worst possible scenario, having to wander into that locker room day in, day out, just to kind of keep your job, knowing that this thing is just such a disaster that it's not going to get better, not this season at least?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for any non-quarterback in that locker room is just tough. I mean, the quarterback goes in the media throwing guys under the bus. Guys aren't able to, if a guy misses a meeting or doesn't react in a way that Tua wants them to, he's outing them. I mean, that's just a horrible situation to walk into on a daily basis. So I wouldn't look at McDaniel. I think McDaniel's the same guy he was from day one. You have to look at Tua. And I mean, is he all right in the head? I mean, has he recovered? I mean, he's throwing a ton of picks. He just seems confused out there. And maybe the concussions have gotten the best of him because he just doesn't look like himself or any, type of fraction of the guy that we saw last year. So, I'm wondering about his head. I'm worried about his head and if he is even seeing the field the same.
All right. Baseball, 2 football games tonight. What a time to be alive on a Monday. Doubles, thanks so much. Catch up with you again.
Thanks, guys.
Right on. Press coverage, Double Talk with Darian Durant is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. Does your workplace have the proper safety program? If not, call Campbell Safety Consulting. We got Pat Chat coming up. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM. Game 7, 6:10 first pitch. Jays, Mariners, Bieber throwing for the Jays against George Kirby. National Hockey League, Canadian teams, Jets at the Flames. Canadians hosting the Sabres. National Football League, Bucks at Detroit. Seahawks welcome Texans. SportsCage.com poll today. Do you think the Rough Riders made the right decision to bring in Jack Cohn into the game in the fourth quarter of the 17-16 loss in Winnipeg? You can vote at SportsCage.com. In hour 3, it's for Steelcraft Doors, Regina, made in Western Canada, for Western Canada. Let's talk some hockey. Pat Chat.
Time now for Sports Cage Pat Chat, powered by Selby Mainline Motors. The name you trust. Mainline Motors is now only 30 minutes from Regina. Amazing deals and award-winning service is now at your doorstep. SelbyMainline.ca.
General Manager of the Regina Pats, Dale Derkatch, is joining us. First home win on the weekend. The boys pick it up. As the GM, Dale, going to ask you, are you happy where the effort, maybe not getting the wins, are you happy where the effort level is with this team?
Very happy. Thank you guys for having me on. Very happy. You know what? I think there's only one game I was really a little upset with, and that was the Vancouver game. Other than that, I mean, we don't have a lot of wins, but in our 5 losses, 1 was in overtime and the other 4 were by 1 goal. So I'm very happy with our team's effort. I see progress. I see a group maybe learning to win instead of not wanting to lose. It takes a little bit there. Last year was a tough year and the year before as well. And it takes a little bit to get things going and the confidence going in the right direction.
When you say learning to win, not wanting to lose, is it a matter of you'll see a certain move or a play out of a player that maybe you didn't see last year? Or is it somebody finishing a check or somebody being in the right spot where they need to be like, okay, we're not there yet, but we're getting there when you're watching from high above?
Yeah, well, when you're not in really tight games, like last year was pretty tough, where you're outmanned physically a lot of the times by some of the older teams. It takes a lot, and you got to get into those situations where maybe getting a puck in deep with a 1-goal lead with 2 minutes left, it's a big play, and to get that mindset where something like that means as much as scoring a goal. It takes you time, and it takes you being in those situations. It's like any experience; you've got to experience it. You can't just say, "Yeah, I know how things are or what things are all about," without actually going through it. So I feel we're getting there. Like we've had games where we're in tight. We've had to try to protect a lead, and we haven't. And we got other times where we did have the lead, like last game, and we did protect it. And finally, we got an empty net goal for ourselves. So those things have to happen, and players need to be in those situations to learn what needs to be done. So we're getting there.
There's nothing better than having a big, experienced, physical defenseman. You got a 2005 now, Carter Kowalik, coming in for the Pats. Talk about that move. What made you want to go out and get him?
Well, when we made moves, I mean, we had the 3 goalie situation, and we finally decided to go with Shynkaruk and Tabashnek. Well, that opened up a 20-year-old spot. And then we looked at potentially maybe bringing in a D. We had an injury or 2, and just to shore things up. So that was the move behind that. And a guy that has some experience in winning. He was with Edmonton when they won a WHL championship. Yeah. And that you can't again, you need that experience, and you have to go through it to get the experience. So
I want to ask too about Ruslan Karamov. How does he land on your lap? How do you get him?
Interesting there. The CHL doesn't have a waiver wire where it goes out to everybody, which I don't understand why not, because once a player is waived in the example WHL, he is then available for the Quebec League or the Ontario League. So every team should get that information. I think that's being worked on. It just so happened that I had a call from Sarnia's GM a day or two before they were going to waive him, or they were going to put him on waivers and then see if he got waived, because that gentleman, Dylan Sika is his name, is the GM of the U17 team that Schultz and Pugh are on. So we were just in talking, and he had said to me, we have a Euro that we're going to let go because we have some younger players that need the ice time. So you may want to look at him and see if you'd be interested. We put in for him and got lucky, and we got him. So it was all a luck thing, really.
I love it. Right place at the right time. You guys we got Lethbridge coming in on Wednesday. Dale, I know we don't have a lot of time today, but it's always a pleasure talking to you, talking some hockey. We'll catch up again.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. All the best. Take care. See you at the rink.
Right on. Regina's GM, Dale Derkatch. They take on the Lethbridge Hurricanes Wednesday, 7:00. They're playing scrappy hockey, man.
And here's the thing: Red Deer is 2-8, Brandon's 2-6, the Pats are 2-6, Lethbridge is 3-8. So the Pats, there's a whole wheelhouse of teams there that they're going to be battling with all season long. Now the Blades are 9-3, but here's the weird thing about the WHL schedule, Barney, if you're looking. So the Blades in Edmonton have played 12 games. There's a bunch of teams like PA who's still undefeated. They've only played 9, along with the Pats. So, and I don't know. So that's all going to get evened out as well. So for the Pats fans, if you're checking the standings, there's other teams out there that aren't exactly shooting out the lights so far.
And they got some exciting players on their team, and just hold the phones. We're nine. There's a lot of coaches and GMs out there that think they know everything about it. It's like, let's just see where it lies. Big Game 7. We're going to go back and talk to Arash Madani after this. It's a Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.